Welcome to our October Lunch and Learn from our Fleet Management Department at Facilities Management. Our topic for today is micromobility, smart moves for safe travel on grounds.
So I wanted to share on these four topics right here about micromobility, what exactly is it, and how managing micromobility really starts with me as a driver, whether I'm in a micromobility situation or whether I'm in a driving situation. It really starts with me. I've got a great video that was shared with me by Dana Schrader from the Office of Sustainability. We'll look at it in a few slides. And then I want to specifically talk about probably the biggest thing that impacts mobility decisions, and that's distractions. We know that over 50% of our accidents that we have within the FM agency are related to distractions. We're going to specifically look at what they are, what they're composed of, and talk about driving them out. And then the last thing is going to be a couple of our vehicles here. We put on what I think would really be a state-of-the-art technology to help with regard to preventing pedestrian impacts or micromobility impacts with some of our larger vehicles. So micromobility on the left-hand side there, it can be either human-powered or electric. You can share it, like we see them here on grounds that are the VOs, or they can own them themselves. Most of them are low speeds. Some of them get up to moderate speeds. I know there's bicycles out there. I don't know what the classes are, but you can get a bicycle now that'll do what, 45 at least?
Yeah.
Or more. So they're different class, and when you get up in that class, I believe there's licensures that you have to attain. So take a look at. Yep, that's definitely micromobility. You can either rent that or own it. Same there. Skateboards, and this also would include those one-wheel jobs that are the unicycles and
One wheel.
yeah. The cargo bikes, same thing. The rickshaws, pedicab. Has anybody been in a pedicab? Ridden in them? I have.
I hear.
I did over it. I went to a Marine Fleet conference in Harrisonburg, and that's where I was on my first one. Coaster Cycle was making them at the time, and it was like a two-seater rickshaw that would do 20 miles an hour. And I thought it was just a great concept. It would be great around grounds here as well, too. It's just another aspect.
Can I ask, normally when I think of that, I think of Vietnam era rickshaws where there's a driver up front and two people in the back. Is that similar, or is it a different?
Exact. Yeah, they have, well, there are multiple kinds of it, I guess, but the one I was on was a driver who had a drive assist system, electric, and then two people could sit in the back. I've seen the four where everyone pedals, and
Sure.
that's go down to
Like a
Asheville.
Surrey or something, right?
Yeah, Asheville, North Carolina, their beer joints are incredible, and they have just instead of it being a van you drive in, you hop in with four people and you just pedal.
Basically, everybody's pedaling and drinking at the same
There's an
time.
alumni that's doing that at home games here.
Okay.
He's got one, and his caveat is he runs you around, and since it's a bike, somehow he has a cooler on it. So he charges a premium, and you basically ride around and have a cocktail on his, but he's got a rickshaw, and he's pedaling it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's assisted or not, but he's, yeah.
The coaster cycle that we bought and it was used in grounds was that system.
Okay.
But we put a cargo basket on ours, but you could put a seat. And the guy doesn't run like they did over in in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I rode in those in Korea when I was there in the late 60s.
Sure.
But that was a long time ago. But anyway, yes, the rickshaws are a good idea. They even have them with coffee on the back or coolers of beer on the back. So and they're really a great idea.
Yeah, here.
Last mile mobility they're used. I know Ford Motor Company is using the same concept on the line where they're delivering parts up and down the line
Wow.
with the rickshaw type cars. Micromobility is not a car, it's not an internal combustion engine, it's not going over 40 things that go over 45, and it's not gasoline powered or diesel mopeds. Down on the bottom, so the micromobility really unlocks your range on how far you can go in a city where you might be less inclined to walk more than a mile or two, but if you had that, your own micromobility option where you could even bring it into your office or, unpack it out of your office to go for 4 or 5 or 10 miles, it's just a great way to help extend your range of what you can easily access.
Mike, does anyone in your group or Patrick's tie in with like the athletics? Because I know a lot of them get issued like a UVA moped, like the field hockey teams and some of that.
I don't know about
It'd be
it.
cool to see that transition over to.
I don't
two-stroke
think
or
that
something.
they're, unless you know something that I don't, they're not a UVA like owned mopeds. A lot of them have mopeds that they are given by their, like a graduating,
A graduating teammate.
Kind of passed down.
or they'll sell them, but
Oh, okay.
yeah,
They said
athletics.
they said they were given it by, okay, so maybe it's given by a student on their team, not even varsity.
I mean, there may be some, I don't know, that there might be people buying them for them, but,
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I see them lined up, they're all like identical in there.
oh,
I often wondered, I went over to I was in Athens and I saw a stadium where there was a pro soccer game. And there were like 30,000 mopeds and they all looked the same.
Wow.
So how do you know you got onto yours?
Wrong key, wrong key, wrong key, wrong
Or
key.
are they all keyed alike and you just grab and go? I was just like, how does that work? But crazy. These are the 3 common, most typical distractions that drivers face, but believe it or not, they also are faced by people in micromobility situations. The visual, I'm sure for me, I have seen the woman driving, and I have seen the person driving down the road putting on eye makeup while she was driving, actively driving. Looking at your phone, even to look for directions, or looking at your car screen is another visual distraction, and then it's recommended to put your phone in Do Not Disturb. In the state of Virginia, you're allowed to use Bluetooth. In Virginia, for us as staff members, we are not allowed to use our phones when we're driving. The manual types of distractions is when you reach for something when you're driving, you take your eyes off of what your phone, so you're actually reaching for something, whether it's your food or your drink or your coffee, or making adjustments on the console. Our cars have become increasingly more distracting with all the features that we've added to them. And I remember reporting to the scene of one accident because the individual was driving and he was using the snowplow and he had his arms behind his back because he was trying to take his jacket off. So imagine driving with a snowplow and your arms are behind the back and you hit an expansion joint. And the whole cab goes like that.
Picturing John Candy in like Planes, Trains. and Automobiles.
really.
Well, he had a seatbelt on, but his arms were behind his back and he had put himself in his own straitjacket. He put his head through the windshield
Oh,
of
boy.
the unit.
Whoa.
So don't reach for items. Don't take your jacket off when you're driving. So that would be the manual. And then the other type is the cognitive. And I know I have been driving down the road and I have been like 5 miles past my intersection. And I'm like, I wasn't even paying attention.
Yep.
So even you can be distracted just by your own thoughts. Your cognition is impaired if you're not paying attention. So we talk about it in the mindful driver training class. It's that focus that you take to stay online. And we're gonna see some cognitive challenges in one of the videos coming up here. So any questions on these types of distractions? I know I've experienced them all. I'm working on even the food ones. My wife and I typically travel one weekend a month to the beach, and our routine is we get everything in the car, then we stop by Chick-fil-A and we get our little biscuits as we get ready to go. And in the past, I just waited until I got on 64 and I was on cruise control, and I would just eat because it was
That's the same thing we do. We catch the Chick-fil-A when they get 64 to 81. If I'm driving, she lays it out in the center console.
You got your
kinda-
dipping sauces. in
Yeah,
there.
What's your take on passengers feeding you?
That's probably distracting.
Probably just okay, fair.
So what I've done now is even if we go through the drive-through, I'll stop in the lot, sit down, take the 5 minutes,
It's 5 minutes.
eat
right?
my food, and that's another distraction that I don't need to deal with. So that's just me, it's growth, it's as you learn this stuff, it's me being responsible.
Here, I guess another question I would wonder about is something like distracted driving, where maybe you had a tough day at work or something else that is fogging up your mind or maybe potentially taking your mind away from the task at hand. Are there any suggestions of things to do before you get behind the wheel to ensure that you are adequately prepared for any scenario that you might come across?
That's a great question, and yes, there are. In the mindful driver training class, I talk about before, while, and after driving. And it's that refocus. Recognize the enormity of the task that you're getting ready to step into.
Right.
So for FM staff members, we're supposed to do a walk around the vehicle before you get into it and drive. Check for any damage that's there. That's when you take that moment that, hey, I'm gonna be getting ready to go down McCormick Road. It's probably getting close to class change. There's probably gonna be everything in the world. I need to go ahead and just unpack everything that I'm carrying right now, place it, even my thoughts, put it on, and just go ahead and focus on what I'm trying to do right now.
Right.
Because none of us wants to be involved with anything where somebody gets hurt or worse.
I guess it's interesting because it's almost like impaired driving, right? If you maybe experience something, a difficult conversation with someone, maybe you're fuming, maybe someone, cuts you off in traffic. Each of those different things can impair your active thinking as you're driving. So that certainly could be maybe an awareness issue more than anything.
Just before stepping in this room, I just checked a news article where it was a guy, I was on this road last week in Athens, outside of Athens, Georgia, and a truck driver following too close to a van, struck the van in front of him, tractor truck, van catches on fire, 8 people dead.
Oh, boy.
And it just takes a split second, and you just really have to be aware that every time you're sitting in a motor vehicle, you can be placing others in harm's way, and you have to just realize the enormity of that task. So stay focused on the road is really a key to that. So I'm going to share a couple of these. So situational awareness, I believe, is where this one is going to go to. But the biggest key for that is to just slow down. Take your time. We have a saying in that it's take the time, not the chance.
Why is situational awareness vital for safe urban cycling? Imagine riding through a busy city street where cars, pedestrians, and bikes all share the space. It's a lively scene, but it can also be unpredictable. Staying safe means more than just knowing how to pedal fast or brake smoothly. It's about understanding what's happening around you at all times. Urban areas are full of surprises. You might see a car signaling a turn or a pedestrian stepping onto the crosswalk. Recognizing these signs early helps you decide whether to slow down, change your lane, or stop altogether. This skill is called situational awareness. It's like having a mental map of everything happening around you. When you're cycling in the city, you need to pay attention to traffic lights, other vehicles, and even parked cars. For example, a parked car might suddenly open its door if someone gets out, or a delivery truck might block your view of the road ahead. Being aware of these hazards helps you avoid accidents. Good situational awareness also involves checking behind you regularly. Using mirrors or turning your head to look over your shoulder keeps you informed of approaching traffic. It's especially important when riding in lanes with cars behind you or when preparing to turn. Another key part is understanding traffic flow. Knowing when cars tend to speed up or slow down helps you plan your moves. If you see a vehicle approaching quickly from behind, you might want to move slightly to the side or slow down to let it pass safely. Staying alert means avoiding distractions like mobile phones or headphones. If your focus slips, you might miss a warning sign or a sudden change in the environment. Keep your eyes on the road and listen for sounds like honking or sirens. Practicing good urban cycling navigation also means positioning yourself where drivers can see you clearly. Riding in the middle of the lane or near the curb signals your intentions. This makes you more predictable and less likely to be caught off guard. In bad weather or low light, your awareness becomes even more important. Wet roads can be slippery, and poor lighting makes it harder to see hazards. Slow down and stay extra cautious in these conditions. Developing this mental skill helps you react quickly and make smart choices. It's about being proactive rather than just reacting to dangers. For example, if you notice a car approaching a red light, you can slow down early instead of rushing through and risking a collision. In the end, safe urban cycling depends on your ability to perceive and understand your surroundings. It's what keeps you out of harm's way and allows you to enjoy your ride with confidence. The more attentive you are, the better you can handle the city's ever-changing environment.
The point I wanted to make with that video right there was the images almost didn't seem to match the message.
Yeah.
You had the
Lack of
person
helmets.
blowing the kiss at the other person, they were not paying attention, and it was just like, are you really serious about this? I mean, it doesn't really match what you're trying to talk about. Just this morning, I had to pay attention to the next situation about how to, when you approach that intersection and you have to prepare for the right hook. And that cyclist is the one that's going to experience that. So if you could play the next video.
Yeah.
Hey, watch out!
And that, to that point, we've had a couple of students that have actually been hit in those scenarios by FM vehicles. And we've had some of them that have hit us and driven off as well, too. So for FM staff, what we always talk to people about is whatever happens, whatever the incident is, always stop and call the police to protect yourself. We've had incidents where people have hit the back of our vehicle, they get out of the car and say, hey, I'm good, and they drive off.
Oh, right.
No, stay right there, call the police, and let them do a report right there. So, but at this intersection here at Emmett and Ivy Road, I have been passed in every imaginable way.
Oh, yeah.
I've been passed on the right, I've been passed on the left while trying to turn. I have had a person on the sidewalk go by me and then cross and then get on the left-hand side and wait there to cross. I mean, it's just like, what's going on? The next incident is called the Dutch Reach, and if you have ever heard of this, okay, we might need to have some for mature audiences only. Fair enough.
Answer however you want.
Okay.
What is the Dutch Reach?
The Dutch Reach.
The Dutch Reach? No idea.
I have no idea.
No idea.
Never heard of the Dutch Reach.
Never heard of it, no.
Sounds filthy.
Can you venture a guess of what it is?
No. I can't.
Is this NSFW or what are we talking about here?
Are you curious to learn what the Dutch Reach is?
I could not be more curious to know what the Dutch Reach is.
If it's like the Turkish get up, sure.
What if I said I could teach you the Dutch Reach and I could do it right now out in the parking lot?
I'd be down. Let's do it. So we know it sounds a little silly, but the Dutch Reach could probably save someone's life. When we pull up to a parking spot, most of us don't really think about how we open up our car door. We put our car in park, we turn it off, and we usually open it with our left hand, not really looking out or behind us. But what the Dutch Reach is it's a movement where you reach over with your right hand instead of your left, which will force your body, your upper body, to turn around and look for oncoming cyclists. At the very least, you're gonna look in your rearview mirror. In the Netherlands, this is pretty much the cultural norm. I mean, they even teach it in their driver's ed class. So next time you're opening up your car door, do as the Dutch do, the Dutch Reach.
No, the idea is that to get you to turn your head, and the reason for it is most of the times you're going to be parking where the cyclists are going to be in their cycling lane, and your door is going to be right where they're going to be coming from. So
Right.
I've even had it. I park in front of this building. I've had it happen here the same way. So just taking that extra minute. This bus company did is they put their drivers on the stationary bike to let them feel what it feels like to be a pedestrian when they're coming around there. Train them to be more aware of your surroundings. And so I would say think about being that cyclist before you even get in the car and get ready to roll. The ABCs, you always check your air in your tire, make sure your brakes are working, the chain's in good condition. I always talk about those quick release levers, and those are another wild card because you have them sometimes for your brake cables, you've got them on your rims, and you got them on your seat posts. So have you ever had anybody maybe mess with you and maybe loosen stuff? Like I've had someone pull the plug off my motorcycle before, the plug wire off.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are the kind of things, it's a safety point that just, when you're doing your walk around before you get on, check all those things that might impact your ride. Another thing I always check with these with the new motors that they're putting on these rims, inspect your front fork. That's something that's really, they throw those great big hub motors that are in there that generate your current. I reported to an accident on Millmont. I was in traffic. Young kid was hopping a curb on his road bike with one of those on there. His whole front fork sheared and he face planted, ate the concrete. His face, teeth, nose was bloody. Me and a nurse rushed over to him. We're the first people to get to him. But he probably overbuilt his bicycle by adding all that stuff. So if you're not experienced at what you're doing with that kind of stuff, get it checked out. But again,
Spokes are important to keep track of when you have a hub motor too.
yeah,
Spokes.
A lot more likely to get loose.
Pretty torquey, isn't it? Yeah.
Really?
talked about it earlier about your helmet, wearing high-vis clothing, lights. It's another important thing. If you can get rim or tires with the reflective material on the side of it so you can see the great big ovals. Always ride with traffic and ride in the bike lane. Obey the laws and your signals. Park in an approved area. We had an incident here the other day, I'll mention, where someone was coming up from the Pratt trailer towards the area to park.
Okay.
That was a person driving a vehicle in that first lane where the electric vehicles parked there to go behind, right here behind Kubota Alley. And a cyclist was coming from the other way. They were on Pratt Drive and coming over, and they both met at that intersection. And because of the tall vehicles, they couldn't see the cyclist and they nearly collided.
Oh, man.
So you always have to have your head on a swivel, and you always have, slow down is the other thing. This is a new traffic pattern for the cyclists to where they're parking now. They typically parked up top. But again, it's always just, you gotta take the time. If you're locking your bike up, make sure that you take accommodation if your battery doesn't get stolen. So either take it with you or if it's locked, and then always charge it on your UL approved battery in an approved outlet with a UL approved charger. Good. This is part of the effort that we did here within FM, where these are the two biggest trucks that I have that have underdrive potential. So this area here didn't come with this.
I would like the bar you do at the back of the tractor trailer.
That's underdrive protection. This is side underdrive. And
That's pretty slick.
if you click,
Underdrive, but also when they're crossing an intersection, having that reflectivity that you see them,
yeah. So, yeah, these need to get the reflective stripes on them as well too. But you can see that what they do is they take up that area to prevent a pedestrian from either driving under there or walking under there. And IIHS is up in Greene County. That's where they do all that testing. They really recommend this. I became aware of this from a colleague up at Yale. They put them on their stuff up there.
That's fantastic.
And these are two of our newest vehicles, and both of them were outfitted with this technology by the fleet office before they were put in play. They're not required by the law, but I couldn't see operating them here without that installed on them.
Have you heard any testimonial from effectiveness or?
Not here on grounds,
No, elsewhere. I'm
Yeah, well,
wondering.
IIHS has like a 15-page document, and they say that they expect hundreds of lives could be saved
Wow.
by using that,
Yeah, sure.
so. And then the American League of Bicyclists, that they have some safety courses. I've taken one of theirs. These are their rules for the road. And they're just common sense. Make sure that you follow the law, do it all. Make sure you're predictable. Make sure you can be seen. Plan ahead. Not just what you're going to do, but what the people are around you are getting ready to do. I always walk as if that student that's up there looking at their phone is gonna step over into the road in front of me.
Oh, yeah. And not look up.
And never
once.
look up. Like that cyclist that was in the first video with the Tesla. You know, they anticipated very well in that situation, but the other factor that would have helped them was speed.
Yeah.
If they were approaching that intersection, and we knew they ran the lights, I mean, they should have slowed up. That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
Any questions, comments?